Hi there, my magical star beings. This is Psychic Siren Tarot, your favorite tarot reader, and welcome to the channel. In today's reading, we're going to be taking a look at how you're secretly intimidating but alluring. I'll try to be as accurate as I can, but it is a bit tricky when reading for the collective. If you want something more personal, you can always check in with a psychic for a more in-depth description. Speaking of which, I tried a clairvoyant from Psychic Source, and yes, they're sponsoring today's video. Thank you, Psychic Source. I got matched with a clairvoyant through their site, and honestly, I wasn't expecting her to be that accurate. I gave her no personal info, just asked about my future love life, and somehow she instantly picked up that I'm already in a relationship. She literally said, "Why are you asking about the future without mentioning him?" I was literally speechless, but then I remembered that's kind of what I do too. Still a shocking experience to be on the receiving end of it. She described my future partner as someone who makes me really happy, with great communication and a bond that can handle anything. But the part that really stuck with me, she said she saw my future husband giving me purple flowers. A few weeks later, nothing happened, so I kind of forgot about it. Then we saw a tattoo promo on Instagram. My boyfriend sent me his ideas so I can book, and boom, a purple flower. Not a bouquet, but I'm definitely taking that as a sign. You can chat with gifted advisors however you're most comfortable. Phone, video, or even text. Setting up my account on their website was super easy, and they have this quick little quiz that helps you find a psychic based on what you're looking for, whether it's love, past lives, energy readings, whatever. It made the whole process really personal and intentional. What sets them apart is the level of care and integrity. Only 2% of their applicants actually become advisors, so you know you're speaking to someone who's truly gifted and held to high ethical standards. And they back everything up with a no-risk guarantee. If you're not happy with your last paid reading, it's free. For a limited time, you can use my code Siren at psychicsource.com when checking out, or you can just click the link in my description box below at trypsychicsource.com/siren. You'll get up to 40 minutes with an advisor for just $19.80. That's up to a $240 value. You don't have to use it all in one session. You can spread those minutes out across multiple advisors to see who you truly resonate with. They also donate 1% of your purchase to charity at no extra cost to you. Oh, and yes, I do get paid for this promo, so when you sign up with Psychic Source, you're feeding a perpetually hungry, slightly dramatic psychic, that would be me, and funding my next impulsive crystal purchase. As you can see, the channel needs some new crystals, but that's all for now. Thank you again to Psychic Source for sponsoring today's video. So getting back to your pile selection, for pile 1 we have Rose Quartz with the Sun reverse. For pile 2 we have Clear Quartz with the Star. And for pile 3 we have Purple Cat's Eye with the Three of Cups reverse. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to pick a pile, pick whichever one you're most drawn to. So once you are done picking a pile, you can find your timestamps for your pile in the description box below, and then I'll see you at your reading. Hi pile 1, if you chose the Rose Quartz Crystal and the Sun card showing up reverse, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at how you're secretly intimidating but alluring. So please be aware that this is a general reading, only take what resonates, leave the rest. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle your cards. So a lot of you could have what they call an RBF, resting bee face, like where you don't like smile very often unless you mean it. That is one thing people begin to love about you, like after being intimidated. Like at first they might find it intimidating, see you and think that, okay, like, yeah, this person's so intimidating because they're not smiling, but then later on they see that, okay, because you're only smiling when you're truly, genuinely happy and not just because you want to be polite, people appreciate that realness more, if that makes sense. So You're seen as real, raw, and genuine. And you're not someone that's going to like be fake and like pretend to like somebody if you don't like them. You're probably just going to keep your distance from them. You'll be kind if you want to, but you're not going in like people pleasing mode where you're trying to like please everybody. And I kind of feel like with the sun reverse, there's something here about you not like being easily impressed by things other people would be easily impressed by, where like other people would kind of fawn over that, but you just see it as like the bare minimum, or like as they should, like kind of energy, if that makes sense. So we have the Nine of Wands. So because you're not easily impressed, people feel as though they need to jump over hoops to actually impress you in some way. And maybe certain things people think will impress you don't impress you. And maybe there's like true deeper things that impress you. So Nine of Wands, Judgment, the Six of Swords. And you also won't like, again, like pretend to be somebody's friend if you're not effing with them, you know. Six of Swords, Four of Pentacles, and Nine of Cups. With the Justice card at the back of the deck. So the Justice card confirms what I said about like you being raw, truthful. Maybe you're not afraid to say what's on your mind. Maybe you're the type of person that says what everybody's thinking but too afraid to say. And yeah, people can't hold you back from speaking the truth, from speaking your mind. Some people perceive it as you play hard to get. Now, I don't know if you're actually doing that. I don't like when people are like, oh, you're playing hard to get. But it's coming through like that, where because you're not easily impressed by things, because you're not like becoming someone's best friend immediately, sometimes people think you are playing hard to get, or because you're not like fawning over something a guy or woman does for you. Maybe they think you're playing hard to get, but I think for you, maybe you're the type of person that takes your time getting to know people. You first want to see who they are and their character. You want to get to know them slowly. You want to see all sides of the situation and all sides of them before you trust them fully. So you are a little bit guarded here with the Nine of Wands, protective over your own heart. You can be kind, but you're not fake. And so because you're not rushing into relationships, people perceive it as like, oh, it's harder to not have a relationship with you, but build a relationship with you from the start, because it's kind of like they have to, again, like jump through hoops to get you to notice them, or to get you to notice the effort that they're putting in. And don't feel bad for this, because I feel like people enjoy going the extra mile for you, because some people see it as like a challenge or a chase, where they almost like want to chase after you, where they like the chasing. I don't know why I'm seeing that, but I am. So some people find it intimidating, but some people like that. It takes a lot of effort to get on your side, and not only just on your good side, but on your side where you trust them, if that makes sense. You see through all the cracks in the foundation of any person. You're incredibly perceptive and observant, and I feel like if a person is wearing a mask and pretending to be something they're not, you can see that performative energy from a mile away. You can see when someone is not being genuine or true or honest, and you can see through the mask that they wear or show to the world, right? So some people are intimidated by you because you see through the cracks. You kind of see through their mask, and they don't want you to see that. And so then they go ahead and put their guard up. Then they go ahead and talk negative about you, because they just don't want you going and telling other people like what you see about them. So you could be a truth seer, if that makes sense, where you see people's true color and nature, but also situations, true nature, like truth, if that makes sense. I mean, you see the truth of the situation, that's what I mean. So, not only like when people are hiding something, they get intimidated because you see both light and shadow self, like you see everything about them, but also people that are maybe afraid to go deep, afraid to be seen, where it's like you see them truly, you observe them, and sometimes people feel uncomfortable because of that, because maybe they want to hide or be invisible, or maybe they just don't want people to read their mind or truly know what's going on within. And so they get very intimidated by you, wondering what you know about them. But it is sexy in a way because you're like a mind reader almost. And with that, you know what people want and need. It takes a lot for you to get attached to a person, and you keep your cards close to your chest. Yes, you are a truth speaker, but there's certain things you keep private about yourself because your peace is your privacy. And I feel like when you do get attached to a person, it's only when you see that they're ticking multiple boxes of what you're looking for. So again, like you take your time getting to know people, and I think this came from like a huge wake up call where maybe you were letting people in too quickly, or kind of being blind to people's flaws because of love. Some people kind of feel choked up because they feel like they missed their chance with you, or they feel like they will never have a chance with you, like you'll never give them a chance. And that's secretly intimidating but alluring at the same time. People want what they can't have, if that makes sense. You also have a lot of the traits people want in a long-term partner, friend. And so people feel like you're a keeper, but because it takes a lot to get onto your side and to get into your circle, people feel like they have to go the extra mile to do that, and they have to put in effort. And what I'm seeing now is, you know how in Shrek, the first movie, where he rescues Fiona from the tower dungeon thing? I don't know if it's called a dungeon tower. Anyways, he goes in and there's so many like skulls there of people that tried but didn't make it through. So I feel like people do try with you, but sometimes they don't make it through. And then the people that do try and do make it through end up feeling lucky and special because they know that you don't let many people into your circle. So then they feel like you truly trust them. And then they feel like, yes, it was intimidating in the beginning, like fighting for you, putting in the effort for you. But then when they make it to the end, it's worth it. And then they see that change, if that makes sense. So you're also someone that's constantly changing in a way. You're constantly transforming and becoming better. You've moved on to bigger and better in your life. And I think a lot of people from your past are secretly intimidated by how much you've changed. People that have known you all your life are secretly intimidated by that, because sometimes when a person looks at your transformations, they see how much work you've put into yourself, into your own inner journey. They see sort of like a mirror of maybe what they haven't done, how they're still like stuck at the same place. Or this could be like some people see the changes are so huge and it has nothing to do with them or their own transformations, but maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable for them to see you change at like such a rapid pace where it's almost like intimidating, right? Sometimes people are also afraid of you changing your mind, like letting them in and then later changing your mind, changing course of action. Some people have deep regrets about you, about the way they treated you or wounded you. Okay, might not be true, but this is their perception. They think that they caused some kind of misery or unhappiness for you, and that they caused a lot of problems for you. which might have been true, but you may have healed from this. You may be happy now. So, just take it as it resonates, but this is their perception and they think that they broke you down. But it's not in a it's not in a way of like looking at it and smiling at the situation. It's more of a feeling bad, a regretful energy, like, I can't believe I hurt them, I can't believe I did that to them. That kind of feeling, and it intimidates them a little bit because they wonder how you see them. They wonder if you see them as like the villain in your story, if that makes sense. I'm seeing a bandage over your heart, so you could perhaps be healing or have healed from this already. Since you reject a lot of people, again, it makes people feel special when they do get some kind of relationship with you romantically or sexually, because not a lot of people can get there with you. Maybe you're very picky with your romantic or sexual partners. You're also someone that knows how to save, knows how to be responsible. You also know how to conserve your own energy and be a little bit selfish in a healthy way. Not that you're not generous, you do give, but you also maintain a healthy level of self-love and energy and time for yourself, because if you're constantly over giving to others and never pouring into you, then you have nothing left for you. So you're moving wisely with your time, your energy, your money, and you're thinking about your future, and that secretly intimidates people, but it's also alluring because a lot of people like that mindset you have where you're goal orientated and you're thinking about the future, not just the short-term gratification. But it is secretly intimidating to those that maybe aren't doing that for themselves. I also feel like you're someone that turns your dreams into a reality by taking practical steps towards that and making a practical routine that allows that dream or goal to become a reality and not just remain in your mind as a dream forever. So that is also secretly intimidating to people. You are a visionary, my pal ones. You could be very creative. You could be very gifted or talented at many things and not even realize it. And that secretly intimidates people. You also seem to have a life that other people desire or want. Some people look at your life and think, oh, you're living the perfect life, like you're living my dream life. I hear them saying my dream life, like my dream life. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I see some people feeling like your life is perfect or your life seems so satisfying in some way where they would love to vicariously live through you, but they're secretly intimidated by that at the same time because they're not experiencing that within their own life, if that makes sense. But it's alluring because they're drawn to it because they want that for themselves. Some people know that you know all the tea. They know that you know everybody's dirt, everybody's secrets. I don't know why this is coming through, but I'm seeing that you're the type of person where you know what's going on in everybody's life somehow. Like, news always comes back to you and you always see the truth of each situation. Maybe you're the first to know. I don't know if it's through gossip, if it's just like by chance. But some people are secretly like afraid of you gossiping about them or spilling the tea on them, if that makes sense. Like, I'm seeing those in my mind's eye. I'm seeing, what is it called? Like when someone like speaks about celebrity gossip and then they know all the celebrity gossip and then they speak about it online or on TV. I'm seeing like one of those people. And then I'm also seeing that scene from Mean Girls where they said, I think it was Gretchen, if I'm not mistaken, where they were like, she knows everybody's secrets, blah, 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 blah. It might not be, I don't know. But I'm seeing that scene in my mind's eye, which is why I'm saying that. So people feel like they're afraid of you knowing their secrets, afraid of you spilling the tea on them. And then they kind of feel the need to check up on you to make sure you're not, if that makes sense. Again, I'm getting the energy of people wanting what they can't have, people that have been rejected, still like obsessing over you because they want what they can't have. And this might not even just be people you've rejected, but let's say you're in a relationship, for example, and there are other men or women looking at you, wishing they could be with you, um, kind of like watching you the whole time. That could be the case too. So you're someone that knows how to live in organization, and your routine kind of reflects that, but your outside external environment also reflects that. And it's like you seem to have your life together, you seem to never fall short, at least to the outside eye. And you seem to have not many weaknesses, and even when people try to use your weaknesses against you, it never works in some way because you turn that weakness into a strength in some way, or you turn it into something that can't be used against you. But like I said, because you're so organized, because you seem like you have your life together, some people get very intimidated by it, but they're finding it secretly alluring because they secretly wish they could be that way too. Also, the way you have leveled up is secretly intimidating but alluring at the same time, because some people see it, they are inspired by it, but then they also feel intimidated by that journey. If they had to go on that on their own, they know it would probably be very hard to continuously level up like you have. Some people get insecure because of you, but then they also are drawn to you at the same time, your magnetism. Also, something about your nails, the color you do in your nails. If you're a woman and you wear nail polish or do your nails, I'm seeing that. Maybe like your style, the handbags you wear, things like that is coming through. Yeah, your style makes you intimidating but alluring at the same time. Your level of hygiene and cleanliness as well, in regards to your own personal hygiene, but also your environment, is secretly intimidating but alluring as well. I'm seeing like specific things you wouldn't think of. Like, I'm seeing someone that regularly goes for pedicures, or like does their nails at home, their toenails, and then like scrubs the bottom of their feet, puts cream on it, like does that whole routine, and then their feet look very soft. And then other people look at their own cracked heels and they're like, oh, I haven't been taking care of myself. I've been neglecting myself there. So if you're someone that takes very good care of yourself, like, it doesn't have to be that specifically, but I'm seeing that in my mind's eye as an example. Some people could get secretly intimidated by it, but find it alluring that you pay attention to the small details of taking care of yourself, if that makes sense. You're also not easily fooled, manipulated, or deceived. Some people try to get ideas on how to deceive you, but it never works, or very rarely works, and that is also intimidating. That is like your weapon in a way. I feel like this pile likes to do a lot of self-care. You radiate this kind of energy of like you're glowing, you're taken care of by the universe, you're taken care of by yourself, by your man, by your woman. Like, that kind of energy is coming through. It's like you're spoiled by the universe, kind of energy. And you could possibly even look bougie or expensive or have an expensive taste. Even if you're not spending a lot of money on like handbags and things, like maybe you just look luxurious. You know how to make clothes look luxurious on you. You're also minding your business, paying attention to yourself and your own life. And that also secretly intimidates people, but it is alluring. So that is all I have for you, pile 1. I do hope this reading resonated with you. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this resonated down in the comments below. And like I said, I can't wait to see you next time. Hi, Pal 2. If you chose the clear quartz crystal and the star card, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at how you're secretly intimidating but alluring. So please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle your cards. Believe it or not, guys, I see that you have that unapproachable beauty. A lot of you might not get approached by men, women. You might not get compliments a lot. And it's not because you're not attractive, like some of you might think. It's because you're actually unapproachable. You actually have that like intimidating kind of beauty where people are like too afraid to speak to you. They're too afraid to get rejected. And some people might even be downright envious where they don't want to give you your flowers. They don't want to give you compliments because they're scared it goes to your head or it hurts their ego in a way, like out of envy. I'm also seeing Riri in my mind's eye. So you're bold, you're unapologetic, you're confident in yourself. When you wear something, it's like you don't care about being overdressed. You don't care about like what other people think. You're just doing you and you're unapologetic about it. That's secretly intimidating but alluring. You stand out within a crowd because of your look and your beauty. And you also have a lot of untamed and untapped potential that people see. Some people are afraid of you reaching your potential because they know you have that star power. You're very talented and unique and special in a way, and I think you have a very big purpose in this lifetime, and you following that purpose is intimidating in some way. The Four of Wands, the King of Wands. Also, like I said, you can't be tamed. The Moon. You're wild, you're free. Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Cups. With the Temperance card at the back of the deck. So there's something about your energy and your aura where the moment people see you, they can tell there's something special and unique about you in the most positive, overwhelmingly positive way. And like I said, it has something to do with your purpose, your unique gifts, your talents that you're meant to share with the world. People subconsciously pick up on it even if they don't know what it is. That is secretly intimidating when people see that you're meant for great things, but they don't know how they know that or what it is. Some people might even try to push you down, try to dim your light because they're so intimidated by your power that they don't want you to see it yourself. Some of you could be healing from things that are very harsh in a way, things no one should have to go through. And I feel like your story, the things you've gone through, would make a grown man cry. So it's kind of like the way you've healed from these huge things is secretly intimidating, not necessarily alluring. I don't know if I'd call it alluring, but it's secretly intimidating because people like kind of see your trauma or what you've been through and they're like, oh, my poor baby, like they want to comfort you, but then they also don't know how you survived through that and how you're still okay, how you're still standing. And even if you are still in that healing process where it's messy and where you don't always feel okay at times, you're still standing strong in some way. And so people are kind of secretly intimidated by that. Not in a negative way, but in a way of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you went through that and you're still okay. Like, you're still here. I think your depth is secretly intimidating to some. You're not someone that likes small talk, that likes pointless conversations that go nowhere. Like, you want deep, meaningful conversations, deep, meaningful connections. Some people are drawn to your depth, but maybe are afraid of drowning in that depth, and they're drawn to it, but they don't know how to meet you at that level at the same time, where sometimes they run because of that, but then they're drawn to you at the same time. And there's like this energy of like, I want to run, but then I also want to look for you at the same time, which is like this really strange, contradictory feeling you bring in people. I don't feel like you bring that feeling to everybody, but just people that are afraid of depth, but maybe are drawn to it at the same time, if that makes sense. I feel like the right people will see your depth and not be afraid of it, and will want to meet you in the deep ocean and not drown from it, you know? You're possibly someone that's very in tune with your own emotions, your intuition. You follow your heart and your gut feelings. You're possibly someone that makes decisions from the heart and from your emotions. And also just like from your gut feelings. You see the beauty in everything, even things that are broken. The way you speak also sounds very poetic and from the heart. That's secretly intimidating to some, but alluring at the same time. You're very good with your communication skills and with writing. I feel like a lot of you could like write really interesting, amazing books that keep you reading and keep you wanting more, you know? And even in conversation, people can hear that you're really intelligent. Like you could even be witty in a way where, let's say you write an Instagram caption, it's like, ooh, I wouldn't have thought of that. Like that's kind of the energy that comes through here. So your words have a very big impact on people and you don't realize that. That is secretly intimidating but alluring, because some people wonder how you do it, like how you find the right words to say to people that almost are life-changing in a way, drastically life-changing, I hear. Another thing I see that could be perceived as a little bit more negative, but isn't a negative thing, because I don't feel like you're doing it maliciously, but I feel like sometimes you know how to push people's buttons. That's what I'm hearing. And you're not doing it purposefully, but people find that secretly intimidating. I don't know why. Also, the way you have grown and the way you've not given up on yourself, but also like when you see another person go through it and it seems like there's no hope left, you know how to bring hope back to that situation for that person and show them how they could potentially grow in the future, how things could get better even when it seems like there is no possible hope in a situation. You know how to like just bring hope to people, and that is secretly intimidating but alluring, because another person would look at that person and think they're broken, think there's no way forward or the situation, but you look at it and you see something positive and hopeful. One thing that is also secretly alluring but intimidating about you is you take people's passive aggressive comments or backhanded compliments and you don't react to it. So let's say someone's giving you a backhanded compliment, you clock that, you don't let it get to you, and you don't react to the passive aggressiveness, and instead you say thank you with a smile. And it really gets on their nerves because you're not affected by it. And that's also secretly intimidating because you're not affected by their small words. Like their words have no effect on you. Where they wanted to get a reaction out of you, they didn't. And now, instead of you looking embarrassed, they're the ones looking embarrassed, especially like in group settings if they do it in front of other people. Yeah, that's what I see. You're also very photogenic, so when people come across your photos or social media, they are intimidated, but they're also drawn to you at the same time. You have a healing light and energy about you that almost takes people to the depths of their subconscious mind, to the depths of emotions they may have not processed. And while that may be a painful journey or initiation in the beginning, it is again like life changing, and they come out on the other side with more hope, with more healing, wisdom. I'm seeing this energy of like you kind of initiating people into their healing in some way. You could also have healing hands for some of you. You're secretly intimidating to those that play it small, play it safe, but they don't take up space. They're scared to voice their opinions. They're scared to be themselves. They're secretly intimidated, but cheering you on at the same time, wanting to be more like you in that sense and learn from you. Just not give a F about people's opinions like you, or at least from their perception. Also, something about your relationship or marriage, if you are married, is secretly intimidating to people, especially if your husband or wife treats you amazingly and you have such a healthy, beautiful connection. That is so intimidating to so many people, but they want that at the same time. And it's intimidating because you don't see it very often. Like usually we see couples that are having like toxic dynamics. You're also secretly intimidating to others because of the fact that you don't need them. You're fine on your own. Like, yes, if they abandon you, hurt you, it might hurt in the moment, but you have many more positive things to kind of look at within your own life that fill you up. And you're not going to completely be destroyed by them leaving or by them not giving you that opportunity anymore. So let's say you apply for a specific job. Maybe other people look at it and see you getting rejected from that job and think like, oh my gosh, if I was in that situation, I would be so distraught. Yes, you're maybe disappointed in the moment, but you're like, okay, it's fine. Like, I can apply to other jobs. Like, there's other jobs. I don't have to be like sad or disappointed about this for too long. Like, there's many other options out there. So, because you have this abundance mindset when it comes to love, relationships, friendships, opportunities, you're never in like a lack mindset where you think you need something or someone to be happy or to survive. Does that make sense? Like, yes, it may disappoint you not having that person or that thing that you wanted in the beginning, but there are always other ways to get what you want, even if it's not in the way you wanted or expected. And that open mindset that you have is secretly intimidating but alluring. And you're secretly intimidating and alluring in a way where people want to almost emanate what you're doing. Not necessarily copy. Maybe some people become copycats, but people almost like want to be more like you. People look at you like a role model, someone that almost gets them outside of their comfort zone, and that's secretly intimidating but alluring. You could also be the life of the party, very fun to be around. Like, you know how to kind of like have fun and not really care about other people's perception of you. Like, if you want to dance at a party, you're going to dance. You're just authentically you. And that is secretly intimidating but alluring to some people. You're also patient. When you want something, you don't give up at the first sign of disappointment or at the first sign of a setback. You continue putting in effort. You continue trying. Just because we planted that seed today and we don't see any like leaves or sprouts growing doesn't mean that seed isn't later going to plant into a bigger tree. You know what I mean? Just because we can't see the results now doesn't mean it's not growing in the background. And so you're patient when it comes to your endeavors, when it comes to your goals. You don't give up on yourself, even if the results seem slow. And eventually you start seeing the growth when you continue believing in yourself and watering that seed, whatever you are planting, whether it's a goal, it's a dream, or just you like investing into yourself, your career, whatever it is. People are secretly intimidated by that because a lot of people like try or start something and then when they don't see results in like 2 weeks, they give up. but you don't, or you try not to. So that's what I see. Something about you having a baby. Someone here like recently had a baby. And other people that really maybe want children are secretly intimidated by that, but like they want that for themselves as well. So again, like things, there's certain things you have that you want, that people want for themselves, like either personality traits that you have where they want to embody that for themselves, or like things you have, like your relationship, for example, how I said before, or your discipline, your unwillingness to give up. Like people almost want that for themselves. That's why they're intimidating. That's why they're intimidated, I mean. Also, because you are someone that is very soft, gentle, you rarely get into drama. Some people think that they can F with you because they think that you have no backbone. But then they see your fierceness and you defend yourself. And then they see, like, oh, I can't F with this person the way I thought I could. And that's secretly intimidating too. Because some people like see kindness as weakness, and then they try to take advantage of that. But then people quickly realize with you, like, oh, I can't do that. Nobody can really disturb your peace. Like, let's say someone is like trying to text you like nasty stuff. You're gonna block them before they can even continue typing. And that just agitates them and gets on their nerves. Again, I see talents or gifts you may not even realize. This could be multiple things. Like I see someone being really good at cooking, and then someone else eats your food, finds it amazing, but they're secretly intimidated because they wish they could cook like you. People are also sometimes afraid to F with you because they're afraid you would get revenge. So I'm seeing, I don't know if you actually would get revenge, but I'm seeing a situation where, let's say, someone here has like a boyfriend that F'd them over, and now he's constantly looking over his shoulder to see if you're gonna get revenge. Like I'm seeing you maybe key his car or something. Not that I would recommend doing that, but some people just kind of think you would get revenge on them, and they're intimidating. Always, they're intimidated, always watching over their shoulder. Something about your free sexual expression is secretly intimidating but alluring to some people. You're not someone that like hides your sexual expression or your sensual expression. Like, let's say you want to wear something and it's showing a little bit of cleavage. You're going to wear that if you feel great and confident in it. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing that energy. I'm also seeing this energy of you continuing to shine even when people try to dim your light or try to push you down. Like, you're still happy even when people try to bring misery in your life, and that's secretly intimidating but alluring. You grow even when people try to cut off that growth. You're free even when people try to trap you or make you feel stuck. So that is intimidating but alluring at the same time. You're unstoppable in some way. People take notes from you. They look at your life, they look at the way you're living your life, and they take notes from you. You're also very resourceful. You make the most of what you have in the moment, and that's also secretly intimidating but alluring. And you have very great ideas, concepts, visions for the future that are very like ahead of your time. Also, a lot of people tend to crush on you but keep those feelings hidden and secret because they're afraid of rejection. And when people do crush on you, it's like they'll crush for years and never even say anything because they're too intimidated. So that is all I have for you, pile 2. I really hope this reading resonated with you. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time. Hi, Pal 3. If you chose the Purple Cat's Eye Crystal and the Three of Cups reversed, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at how you're secretly intimidating but alluring. So please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. So firstly, I'm getting something about your perfume, your scent. People really like it. There are qualities that you have that are admirable but also intimidating at the same time, and people tend to be very envious of this pile when they do see those qualities. Some people admire, some people are kind of envious but admiring you at the same time. With this pile, your intelligence is the quality that is maybe most intimidating to people. Some people feel dumb in your presence. Some people feel like they're not as smart as you. But some people even just see how educated you are and they look up to you in that sense, and they're not surprised because they can see that you're smart, but it's kind of like this feeling of like, oh wow, like I see this quality about them and I really admire it. So that's what I see. So let's see what comes out in the cards. I'm also hearing that song that goes like, it's the way you walk, the way you talk, baby. So maybe something about the way you talk and the way you walk are intimidating but alluring. The Four of Wands. I'm also hearing that this pile tends to like go MIA, tends to fall off the planet, then come back, leveled up, achieving something new, having something new to show. So it's like when you disappear but come back, you have stories to tell, things to share. And I almost feel like this pile has had a lot of fake friends in your life, like that you've cut off, where I'm seeing this energy intuitively. If you don't resonate, you don't have to take this, but seeing this energy of you having like certain ex-friends where you cut them off because you could see they were fake, they were not genuine. And so now that you're doing better in life, it's kind of like they're having a lot of regrets. Like maybe they see you glowing, maybe they see you glowing up, maybe they see you just experiencing an amazing life that is like admirable from the outside. Maybe you found some kind of newfound success and now it's kind of like they want to come back and be opportunistic. I see that for some of you. I'm hearing that song No New Friends. So it's kind of like you're happy on your own. You're possibly very introverted. You're someone that like can go out and eat lunch by yourself. You can do things on your own and enjoy your own time, and that's secretly intimidating to people that maybe don't know how to be alone by themselves, or people that are afraid to, you know, kind of just enjoy their own alone time, or just people that feel like they have to be around people otherwise they feel lonely. Those are the types of people you're intimidating to based off that quality. But also just in general, like people that don't necessarily understand it see you having fun on your own and then they're genuinely taken aback, surprised by it because maybe they don't see that often. You're not somebody that relies on others for your own happiness or external things for your own happiness. When something is taken away from you, your whole world isn't going to fall apart. It hurts in the moment, but you're not going to fall apart over that. That also came through in pile 2 in a different way if you were drawn to that pile. But anyways, I also see this energy of you knowing how to balance out your duality, knowing that we all have strengths and weaknesses and we all have flaws, but it's kind of like you work with it instead of against it. You know yourself. So, for example, let's say someone here is very chaotic in a way and they're not the most organized and they maybe know that's how they are. So then they try to work with that and not against that, and they don't try to be someone they're not, but they try to work with that. That's an example of the energy. Or let's say someone here knows that they're a night owl and they know that they can't get up early in the morning, so then they work late at night. I'm seeing an energy like that where you take your shortcomings, or I don't know if I'd call it a shortcoming, but what other people would perceive as a shortcoming, and you work with it instead of against it. Since you know yourself very well, some people are intimidated by it, especially like if they don't know themselves, or especially if it takes a while for them to figure out what to do next. It seems like you already know what you want and you're focused on that. You don't have to keep guessing what you need to decide on next. So maybe you're someone that's very decisive. Maybe you know what you want. And even if it takes time for you to come to the conclusion of what you want, from the outside perspective, you seem very decisive. You seem to not take a long time to figure out what's next. There's some kind of internal self-trust here. You don't need to go to others for advice very often. I'm seeing the different moon phases in my mind's eye. So you adjust according to the way you feel internally. That's how I'm intuitively reading the message. Each day, we don't feel the same. Like one day we may feel full of energy, vitality, ready to take on the world, feeling so strong and confident. The next day we may feel small, we may feel empty, and you take what you have and you work with it, not against it. Maybe you're also, for the women here, syncing with your cycle, working with your cycles, not against it, not forcing yourself to push when you're in the luteal phase, but, allowing your body to rest and then using that energy when you do have it to the best of your abilities. So there's something about honoring your different cycles, honoring that, some days you're going to feel like crap, some days you're going to feel your best, and you're moving with it, you're going with the flow, and it's very beautiful to see from the outside perspective, but also intimidating. You kind of have this double-edged sword energy about you. Some traits you have could seem like almost gold to people, whereas some traits you have could seem like, I want to say like a weapon to some people. I don't know what that means, but that's just what I'm hearing. Something about your aura and energy is intimidating because I'm seeing this blue aura. Your aura doesn't have to be blue, but I'm just seeing your aura has a lot of light in it. Your energy field is very expansive in a way, and something about when people come across your aura, it's intimidating, not because it's scary or inherently negative or bad, but because the light shines so much from your aura that it's almost blinding in a way. Your aura is so expansive that it's almost intimidating in a way. You're someone that romanticizes every aspect of your life. You're romantic at heart, you love love, but you're also able to see the truth within people. You try not to be blind to people's flaws or blind to love. You try to see people for who they are, not for who they show themselves to be, or who they are or for their potential, if that makes sense. And so there's this feeling here of you healing your self-worth, realizing that you're worthy of the best of the best, realizing that you're worthy of a healthy, beautiful connection that's truthful, that, someone that's loyal, someone that's honest, someone that's gonna stick by your side and support you. And that's very beautiful and rare to see. You have standards, you know your worth, and even if you fall short at times, you still pick yourself back up and continue trying and continue going. And like I said, you also romanticize your life, every aspect of it. And that's secretly intimidating but alluring to others. You're not someone that rushes. You go at your own pace, and you don't like to be rushed by other people. And so when people are like constantly rushing, sometimes it's intimidating to them because you're not letting their problems become your own. Like, let's say somebody else is coming to you in a rush, being like, I need this now. Like, I have this problem. I need this now. You're not letting their problem or their stress become your stress. You're doing it at your own pace, like reminding them, okay, like, I hear you. Like, calm down. We'll get through this together. But you're not, again, like letting their stress become your stress. Another thing I see is I see the deity Thoth around you. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but one of the Egyptian gods. So you could have deities around you, gods, goddesses, certain beings around you that are protecting you. I know this is going to sound wild, but I also see like this vampiric energy. I'm trying to figure out if this is like a guide or what. One of your ancestors knew how to manipulate energy, and I wouldn't say they were necessarily a vampire, because that's a little bit wild to say, but they knew how to manipulate energy. Something about your spiritual protection being intimidating, like the spirits you have by your side protecting you. And now people may not consciously think this unless they're spiritual and maybe they know about this, but there's still this feeling here subconsciously where people are afraid to mess with you. With a justice card here, people could get like pretty strong karma when they mess with you. And so maybe other people hear about that through the grapevine, like, oh my gosh, did you hear this person did that to that person and they got instant karma? Like, I don't want to mess with that person. Or maybe people could fear karma when they do mess with you. And because they fear that karma so much, it ends up tripping them in the process. So something about that's coming through, like your spiritual protection. Now, people might not consciously think spiritual protection, but people subconsciously feel these powerful guides around you, watching over you, and then they don't want to mess with you. You celebrate your wins, but also your losses. You see the beauty in both. There's something about you being able to celebrate your losses as hard as you celebrate your wins, because you know that your losses are and your mistakes are actually pushing you to be better and actually pushing you to grow from that and not just stay thinking that, like, you know how some people like believe they're perfect and believe they have nothing to work on. You're not like that. Like, you know that, okay, like if I make a mistake here, I can learn from it, I can grow from it, I don't have to resent it, but I can see it as something good, a kind of landmark that I'm closer to my goal with every failure. You know what I mean? So I see that type of energy here, and that's secretly intimidating to some but alluring at the same time. Something about your family dynamics, especially if you have a very beautiful family connection with someone, that could be secretly intimidating to some. If you have tattoos, people could find them alluring but intimidating. So I'm looking at his tattoos here. Something about your hair too. Like, your hair looks very healthy and glossy and beautiful. So that's very intimidating. But you could possibly have a cuter face where people almost feel like, oh, they're so cute. But then maybe they're like intimidated by other things about you. But then the cuteness of your face makes you a little bit more approachable and less intimidating in a good way, not in a bad way, where people feel more inclined to like approach you and say hello because of that, even though they're intimidated by other things. So it kind of balances the energy out, if that makes sense. Something about you being realistic and practical being intimidating to others. You're not living in this fairy tale world, but you're looking at things through the lens of practicality. Your loyalty is secretly intimidating in the sense of you would defend anybody you love, and people should be scared to mess with the people you love. The way other people treat you when they treat you well, that is secretly intimidating to others, but alluring in the sense of, oh, I'm intimidated, but like, oh, I want that for myself. Like, I wish I had that. Your mystery and privacy are also intimidating because people know that you're someone with this energy of like you have more to you than meets the eye, and people know that, but they can't always figure you out, and that's intimidating. And also, your cutoff game is strong. You'll leave people in a heartbeat if they do you wrong or betray you. And also, you don't show fake support. What I mean by that is, let's say a friend of yours is doing something inherently wrong. They're so delulu in the situation where they think they're right and they're actually wrong. You're not going to be fake supportive where you're like supporting their rights and their wrongs. You're going to call them out on that. And if they don't like that, then they can't accept the truth. They can't take responsibility for their own actions, and that's already a red flag that you shouldn't be around them. Like, yes, some people might get upset at first, but then later think about it and realize you're right. You can still keep those people around, of course, but I'm talking about people that can never see their own wrongdoings. Those are like major red flags, and I think you're very intimidating to those types of people because they don't want to be called out on their BS. And like, let's say someone effed you over and then they expect to just come back to you with like good news. Like, let's say someone effed you over and you were friends with them and you stopped being friends with them. Now, all of a sudden, when something good is happening in their life, they expect you to support them, but you're not going to give fake support in that sense. Something about you being in control of your own life, not letting your life become out of control, is very intimidating. You have a lot of inner power within you that people are secretly afraid of. And you often hold a mirror to people of who they are on the inside. So you kind of like reflect that back to people, and sometimes people will project certain things onto you that's really them. And then they'll kind of secretly get intimidated because they're projecting their own things onto you. But if a person is kind of like looking at that reflection and seeing what it's showing them in a graceful, humble way, then they won't get intimidated. You're not afraid to destroy or leave things behind that are no longer serving you. Some people hold on so tightly to something that has already died out, to something that's not working, just because of pride, just because they don't want people to think they failed, just because they don't want to put years and years into something and let it go. But you're not afraid to burn it to the ground and start over. That's also secretly intimidating but alluring. You're very addictive to people, and people tend to get obsessed with this pile. And that's intimidating in a way where when other people almost get obsessed over you and other people see that person getting obsessed, that's kind of intimidating. You're also very strategic, very focused. Like, nothing is going to take your focus off of your goals, off of what you want. And you're not very prone to distractions, or at least you try not to be. You do things precisely in a way, like where you You try to do it right the first time so that you don't make mistakes and then have to do it all over again. Like how I said before, yes, you accept your mistakes, but you still try to do things precisely and not waste your time in the process. Because if we do it right the first time, we don't have to go and do it the second time. So you're very efficient with your time as well. You don't rush through things, but you know how to manage your time well. And that's also very intimidating to others. You know how to like get your tasks done in a certain amount of time where maybe the result isn't perfect, but you're getting everything done. You're not like focused on perfectionism. You're just focused on getting it done to the best of your abilities. And that's also intimidating to some. So that is what I have for you. I'm also hearing that you can handle criticism with grace, and that's also intimidating to some. So that's what I have for you. I really hope this reading resonated with you. Let me know how this resonated down in the comments below. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye.